This segment brought to you in association with Burger King.
And Anne-Marie joins us now for our first look at sports. Good evening, Anne-Marie.
Well, good evening to you, Lisa. Straight we go to the road tennis courts where Anton Lilman Daniel will meet Julian Michael Jackson Way in the final of the open men's section of the Silver Hill Road Tennis Tournament. Daniel defeated Mark Venom Griffith in the second semi-final last night in front of a massive crowd. Meanwhile, in the other semis, there are wins for Sheldon Waldron in the women's section and Shaquem Nurse and Shaquan Henry in the under-21s. CBC's Damian Betts reports.
Closing stages of the under-21 semi-final showdown featuring Ezekiel Ward versus Shaquem Nurse in the far court. Tied at 1 game apiece, a third is required. Point there to Nurse. Well, he actually drew level at 9-all with Ward committing several unforced errors. As this switch ends now, Ward with the drop shot. Nurse finds himself in no man's land, can't return. Not to worry, Nurse would eventually dispose of Ward with a few beauties. First the examination, left to right, then something I like to call the opposite lock. Brutal. Well, if it worked once, why not try again? Nurse eventually cruising into the final. 21-19, 23-21, 21-14. The second under-21 semi-final was intriguing as well. Nicholas Nick Ellis closest to the screen versus Shaquan Henry. These two had a titanic battle. Case in point. Loving it. Tied at 20-all. Henry would go on to take the lead for good. Sets up for the forearm drive. That's definitely in. Henry with a finals berth, winning the first 22-20 and the second 22-20. On to the ladies' showdown. Sheldon Waldron in the far court battling Asabi Downey. This was a straightforward assignment for Waldron. Downey still charting her path in the sport. Downey, with one of her shining moments, came up with a feasible plan of keeping Waldron away from the baseline, then opts for the delicate cross-court shot. But you could see that Waldron was just giving Downey some practice on the big stage before winning in 2 straight, 22-20, 21-14. Time for the feature match now. Anton Lilman Daniel up against Mark Venom Griffith, closest to the screen. Daniel, the most dangerous player in BIM, a shots master of epic proportions. Goodness me. Griffith took a while to get his eyes in, trailing 3-10, then started to execute the initial game plan of extending the rallies and waiting for the opening. Lilman into the net. At this point, the crowd was on the edge of their seats, and Daniel sweetened the pot with this cross-court rocket. A bit of showmanship to boot. Strange enough, though, Daniel was his own worst enemy at times, and Griffith showed plenty grit to level at 17-all. Daniel into the advertising. Griffith took the lead 19-18, but Daniel quickly made amends, 21-19. Let's go to the second then. Venom doubled down, concentrating harder. Daniel, another unforced error. Trailing by 2. What will Lilman conjure up? Well, forearm drive down the line. However, Griffith stuck to the script and would force a third, sealing the second game 21-13. Let's head to the all-important third now. Griffith aiming for a come-from-behind upset, stretching and keeping it in play. Tit for tat, who wants it the most? Griffith losing his footing. Point to Daniel. Well, after the turn, Griffith down 9-13, but eyeing a spot in the finals. Solid defense. Daniel looking to finish with a flurry. Not so fast. Stubborn resistance from Griffith allowed him to reach 19-17 with the finish line in sight. That one called out by the line official. Point to Griffith. But Daniel would come back to lock the scores at 19, then put the exclamation mark on the victory with sugar. Then he targets mid-on. Victory to Anton Lilman Daniel over Mark Venom Griffith. 21-19, 13-21, 21-19. Damien Best, CBC Sports.
Well, a half-century from Edwin Currency Barnett was not enough as Barbados lost their fourth-round match against Jamaica by 46 runs when the Windies Under-15 Cricket West Indies tournament continued today at the Coolidge Ground in Antigua. Winning the toss and batting, Jamaica scored 289 for 7, led by captain Jordan Johnson with 93 and Stephen Wedderburn 71. For Barbados, Jaden Lord took 3 for 58. In reply, Barbados were restricted to 243 for 9 off their 50 overs. Barnett scored 59 and Joshua Morris scored 37. While Barbados lost their first 2 matches of the Cricket West Indies and Trinidad and Tobago Women's Cricket Association's Girls 19 and Under T20 Championship. First at NCC, they lost to the hosts by 8 wickets yesterday. Scores Barbados 87 for 7 off their 20 overs. Trinidad 90 for 2 off 13.5. Then at Praise Sal today, Barbados Under-19 girls lost to the Windward Islands by 7 wickets. Barbados made 102 for 7 from their 20 overs. The win was 104 for 3 off 14.2. Barbados batter Hayley Matthews is back in the maroon of West Indies cricket. She's been included in a 14-member women's squad that will tour Ireland and England from May 21st to June 26. Matthews returns to the squad after a layoff due to knee injury while playing in the Women's Big Bash in Australia last December. The injury resulted in Matthews missing the recent West Indies Women's Series against Pakistan in Karachi and Dubai. Meanwhile, Stacey King is returning to international cricket after almost a 3-year absence. Notable absentees are veterans Anisa Mohammed and Melissa Aguilera, who've been dropped after performances in the recent Women's Championships. The full squad includes Stephanie Taylor as captain. Hayley Matthews is the vice-captain. There's Deandra Doughton, Afi Fletcher, Charisma Ramrak, Shadeen Nation, Chanel Henry, Kaisia Knight, Kaishona Knight, Shakira Salmon, Shamilia Connell, Shemaine Campbell, Natasha McLean, and Stacey Ann King. The 14-member squad will assemble in Antigua from May 6th to 20th for a training camp before the touring party's departure to Ireland on May the 21st. The West Indies women will play Ireland in 3 T20 internationals, and then they play England in 3 one-day internationals as part of the ICC Women's Championships, followed by 3 T20 internationals. The 48th Track and Field Cricket Games set to begin this weekend. It was time for the Barbados team to go through their final paces before they left today for the Truman Modern Sports Complex in the Cayman Islands. The squad was hard at work at the National Stadium under the guidance of their coaches. The hurlers were going through their final stride patterns. The relay teams ensuring those passes are accurate. And in the field, fine-tuning was underway under the direction of throwing coach Roman Armstrong and jump coach Desiree Critchlow. Barbados will be fielding a 33-member team, 4 of those athletes being internationally based in the U.S. collegiate system, to the 2019 Crifton Track and Field Games. Manager Angela Jackson is confident the team will turn in medal-winning performances, and they're all fit and ready.
We expect the athletes to perform at their best. I will not predict a number of medals. We're just hoping that everyone will go and give of their best as they represent Barbados.
The Barbados Crifton Track team leaves the island on Thursday for the Cayman Islands ahead of Friday's start of the games. Unfortunately, no Barbadians will be featured in the final rounds of the singles section in the International Tennis Federation's junior tournament currently ongoing at the Tennis Center in Wildy. That's because in the round of 16, local boy Stephen Slocum lost to Zihao Yuan of China in straight sets at 2-6, love 6. Meanwhile, the girls section was devoid of a Bajan challenger even before yesterday. However, in one of the matchups, Sasha Wood of the USA got the better of Jingyi Li of China 6-4, 6-2. CBC's Damien Best reports.
Round of 16 in the boys singles. Zihao Yuan of China in the cap, taking on Stephen Slocum of Barbados. Yuan denied by the net here on the attempted backhand, but he made amends with his serve. Eye candy, that's an ace. Slocum with some early impetus, breaking his opponent in the first game, but couldn't build on it, only had himself to blame. As the first set progressed, Yuan, who's based in Florida, grew in confidence, extra muscle on the backhand winner. Even when Slocum tried a different approach, more aggression, it didn't materialize. coming to the net. Excellent skill to keep it in play, but no success on the attempted lob. Yuan sealing the first, 6-2. Second set now, not a pretty sight for a local boy. Yuan measuring his shots. Unfortunately, Slocum lost his way, and that was it. No coordinates on the forehand. Game, set, and match point. Yuan of China over Slocum of Barbados, 6-2, 6-love. Well, with no Barbadians left in the singles section, let's take in a bit of the girls' matchup between Sasha Wood of the USA and Jinji Lee of China in the far court. Both ladies with some deep returns. Lee, the first to flinch, but she would make up for it thanks to this wasted return from Wood. Change of ends, and Lee, leading in this first set, has so much time to think about placement. Opts for the right side, but it was Wood who flipped the script and drew first blood. Patience in the rally, then a matter of picking her spot. First set in the bag, 6-4. In the second we go. Wood settled the contest by taking proceedings by the bit and running with it. Comes to the net. Too easy. Then gives Lee a good workout on the next point. Overhead smash to ice it. Wood of the USA advanced into the quarterfinals with a 6-4, 6-2 result over Lee of China. Damien Best, CBC Sports.
Now, the Mumbai Indians defeated Delhi Capitals by 40 runs to move to the second spot in the Indian Premier League points table. Mumbai posted 168 for 5 from their 20 overs, with Krunal Pandya top scoring with 37. Kagiso Rabada, he took 2 for 38, while the Windies all-rounder Kimo Paul went wicketless. In reply, the Capitals fell short of the target, being restricted to 128 for 9 in their 20 overs. Rahul Chahar, he claimed 3 for 19, and Jasprit Bumrah 2 for 18.